Hello and welcome back to Faith, Family, and Politics. I'm your guest host, Sterling Metcalfeallen.
And we're going to have a really big show today.
Yes, we are, Louie. Thank you so much. And that is our good friend, louierodriguez.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. The man, the myth, the legend.
Oh,
as
always.
I've looked you up. I've looked you up. Yeah,
Made you sound old, Lou.
Yeah. I vote for it. Never mind. He's the man and the myth. I don't know if that's better. Across from Mr. Louie, we've got Mr. What do we call him?
Youngish.
Youngish KM. kamronreed.
Glad to be back.
Are you?
Yes.
Good to have you. Thanks for filling in tonight.
Yeah. They coerced me.
We did what?
Huh?
Next to him bringing the message today.
I literally volunteered him when he walked in.
Literally.
Yeah, that's true. Before we get to the message bringer, actually, what do we do? Pay the bills? Is that what we do? So please follow, subscribe, share, because sharing is caring.
Hit the like, hit the bell.
Follow la 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 la.
Hey, let's try that again.
Sharing.
The pink button.
Sharing is caring.
There it is.
Louie got it.
He did. There's magic in the air. So please, follow us, subscribe to us. We need to hear from you. Leave those comment. Alan, I'm talking to you.
As many comments as you can find.
He never watches.
Right.
He loves us though.
He does love us.
Write us comments. Never mind.
And this is why we don't have Cameron on the shit. I'm just kidding. No. All right, Josh, you got a message for us today?
Yeah, so since we didn't say my name is Joshua Cummins, and normally I host the show.
He normally does, but not today.
You see, he had to put that in.
What was the name?
He
There it
just
is.
couldn't stay out of the show.
She had my name.
There
up
it is, right
She's
there, Mr.
reflashing it just for you.
Boom, boom.
Sterling just
No, you're
lost
not.
brownie points.
I'm
done.
so bad at this.
Thank you, Laura.
Laura
Well, she's
just
getting better
got
at that, so you got to get
brownie
better at
points
this.
on
I
All right,
reckon.
I'm doing it.
So the title tonight is The Equalizer. There we go. The Equalizer.
There it is.
And there's the Equalizer himself. If you're watching on video,
Oh.
you'll see an image of Jesus standing on a hill.
We're not going to get pinged for that, are we?
Huh?
We're not going to get pinged for that, are we?
For the Equalizer?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You did-
YouTube's funny.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay.
We're going to roll the dice.
Rolling it.
Yep.
Because we got it for the three
Hey,
amigos.
I know that reference.
Let's keep saying that title as much as possible.
4.5. Well, it's fine. You can mention it.
What, the Equalizer?
Yeah. or yeah. just mention a bunch of movie titles and see
Okay.
how many copyright hits we can go for.
You want to
Gotcha.
pray for us, Mr. Josh? Or?
Sure. Yeah. So, Father God, we want to thank you again for this chance to get all these gentlemen together this week and get a chance to praise you and show our love for you and allow other people out there to see what your love means and what it means to have you in our hearts. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
So, just like the last few times that I had brought the message, this one will be more, it'll feel more like a revisit to a previous message. So if you've seen the episode, the simple plan of salvation, then you'll know all the context of what we're going to talk about tonight. But I want to allow for a lot more conversation. And the reason I call it the Equalizer and saying that Jesus is the Equalizer. Mm-hmm. So spoiler alert, there's your answer. The reason he's the Equalizer, it goes back to Romans 3:23. Romans 3:23.
There's a sub-article.
There's a sub-article there. Romans 3:23 says, "For all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God." Now, that can be confusing for some people if they're looking at it, and I don't know how, but they still seem to miss the mark on it. The first two words says, "For all have sinned." It doesn't say "for some have sinned." It doesn't say "for Louie has sinned." It doesn't say "for Sterling has sinned." It doesn't say "for Cam or Josh has sinned." It doesn't say that Journey has sinned. It says "for all." So that's all of us. That's on this side of the camera, on that side of the camera, you watching at home. or in, on your drive or where, well, hopefully you're just listening if you're on a drive.
Yeah.
But hey, you might be multitasker, so I'm not going to knock it because I only text when I drive. So,
And there goes an accident.
yeah. Louie knows he took a trip with me recently. So
Not the Bears.
we spent 23 hours in the car together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow, it does say, for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Well, man, you know what sin does? Sin separates us from God.
It's death.
Yeah, it is. It is death. And we can't have that to get to heaven, can we?
No.
So we're going to hop into the book of John, and it's going to be some very familiar texts for those of you who have been raised in church and whatnot and learning about the simple plan of salvation. But I feel like we always have to circle back to this type of text because we have new viewers all the time, and they do need, and I know it's remedial for some of you, and that's okay. It's okay to have some remedial because sometimes we need to go back and reread this and be reminded of why it is so good to have Jesus Christ in your heart. John 3:16, that's very familiar to everyone, right?
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to go through verse 21. 16 says, for God so loved the world. I want to stop there before I go on. He loved what? He loved just Louie. He loved just Sterling.
Yeah.
He loved just whatever your name is watching or listening right now.
And we appreciate you.
Always.
Yeah. Only if you're subscribing. No, it doesn't say that. It says, for God so loved the world. Now, when I read that, just that part, what does that mean to you, Sterling? For God so loved the world.
That means everybody to me.
To everybody?
That means the everybody. That's people and animals and trees and plants. He loves everything.
So it doesn't miss a thing.
All
Not
who
the thing.
have
Sees
existed,
it all.
all who will exist.
Through all time.
What does it mean to you, Lou, if it said God so loved the world?
He loves all of us. That's what it means to me.
Yeah.
Right? So there's not just one of those random listeners out there that he missed, right?
Probably not. And if
He
he,
knows
did,
all, he
well,
sees
he'll
all.
get back to him sooner or later.
There you go.
He'll have to come back to it, yeah. What about you, Cam?
I was kind of commenting as is.
I know, but it was so low, I want to make sure that the listeners actually heard what you said.
All from the beginning of time to the end of time, he will love and know all of them. And then he knows all and sees all. So he's not going to miss anybody.
So every living being. So for God so loved the world that he gave his only son. Now that, how emotional would that be? Louie, you got kids, and to give up your child for everyone. Could you imagine giving up your child for everyone?
I say you guys are all dead because I ain't giving up my child.
Exactly,
You're
right?
dead.
It's a difficult thing.
But God loved us so much.
But God ain't going to make me kill my son.
No, he sure won't. And Sterling, I mean, could you imagine giving up your one and only child?
No.
No.
That would. I'm definitely. Let's just say, if God asked me right now to pull, was it Isaac?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Abraham and Isaac.
I don't know. I don't think I'm there in my spiritual walk. I don't think I could do that. That would be very hard.
It is hard. You love that kid. Even though you love God and you love that kid, it's going to be very hard. Yeah. It's now that I try to defend my kids from anybody, and it's hard. I couldn't do it. I'd rather kill myself. If I had to go
Just
through
take
that,
me kind of
I'll
thing,
tell
yeah.
God I'm killing myself before I kill my kid,
Yeah.
But I wouldn't do it.
So, and knowing that God loved us so much that he gave his only son for us.
Well,
He only had the one.
Yeah, he knew. Yeah.
He knew that he had to do it. And so the emotional gravity of that.
Well, the world was going to hell, and he had to do something to save it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only way he could save it.
That's right.
Pure sacrifice.
That's exactly right. You hit the nail on the head, Louie. You must be a carpenter like Jesus.
I did do.
He's a
some
woodworker.
nothing.
He was a woodworker. So we go back in here and it says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life." And it says that whosoever or whoever, depending upon your translation, believes in him. So once again, just like the word world, whoever would mean anyone and everyone that believes. Correct?
That's right.
I would say, yeah.
So that whoever believes in him should not perish. So you're going to actually get to live forever in eternal life. He gave Jesus to us, his one and only son. And then in verse 17, "For God did not send his son into the world to condemn the world." Now, what would that mean to you?
He will condemn the world if anything goes like it happened before.
Without Jesus, he would have had to, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He would have had to have let us all slip
There's
away
no-
because we had to stay set. We can't be around
Yeah.
God if we have sin on us. You're exactly right.
There was no true salvation power.
Yeah, there was nothing. I mean, no matter how many sacrifices we made, like they did in the Torah, there was no amount of lamb's blood that could fill the void to get us to where we could be sinless. Jesus was that perfect sacrifice.
I got to take it back.
Yes.
I got to take it back just one step because you were asking if we would sacrifice our child.
Yes, sir. To imagine
What's even
going for that, the reason I asked that real quick, the reason I asked that is to imagine the emotional gravity that God had to feel.
Well,
giving
absolutely,
it
absolutely.
that child.
I only saw it from one perspective though. Just then, when you asked me about it, now
Yes.
looking back at it, it's even worse in my opinion because not everybody is going to actually accept that the sacrifice.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like if I knew everybody would go to heaven, if I did that, that's a different spin. It'd still be very, very, very difficult. But the fact that people wouldn't choose that, there's no way I would do that.
Yeah, or even go as far. They will even go as far as to deny your
Or
existence
turn against
completely.
you. Yeah, no way.
That's
Spit upon
that's
you
what
as you were
shows how
burning.
great God is.
That's true.
Bleeding on
That's
the
very
cross.
true, Lou.
Only he could do it.
Yeah.
We're just human beings, you know.
You might even say he's the great
I am
and the
Almighty. Equalizer. Oh, he's the equalizer.
Yeah, okay.
Roll credits.
Yeah, Sterling and I, we tend to finish each other's.
Sentences?
Yeah.
Totally should have said sandwiches.
I was waiting for him to say sandwiches, but
I
he
was
said
going to say
sentences.
something else, but we're just trying to get back on track. And
Yeah.
I already
It's
pulled
okay. Being off track's is all right. That because we want to keep people entertained, but we also want to let them know this information.
Hit him with some truth.
That's right.
Very hard.
But in order, so God, go back to the beginning of 17 real quick, since we are off the rails. So, for God did not send his son into the world to condemn the world, but in order that the world might be saved through him.
Yeah.
So you just got confirmation in the rest of that verse, just like Louie had said that that they might be saved through him, right?
Yeah.
18. Whoever believes in him is not condemned. So just like in 16, whoever believes in him, it's what do you say there?
Reiterating?
Reiterating,
Transit.
reinforcing the same point, like a hyperlink for you young people. So whoever believes in him is not condemned, but whoever does not believe is condemned already. Once again, confirming what we had believed, that they would basically punch their own ticket to hell by not believing. Because he has not believed in the name of the only Son of God, Jesus, the great equalizer. The equalizer. Remember Romans 3:23, for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God.
Yes, we have.
Verse 19. And this, the judgment, the light has come into the world, and people loved the darkness rather than the light because their works were evil. Does that sound pretty familiar to you?
Yep.
Does that sound like the world today?
Yep.
Most of it.
Looks like the mirror to me.
And they were experiencing this at that time as well. They thought that people were pretty darn evil back then. Imagine how they would feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A few cities were.
Imagine how they would feel if they were to open up a social media site today. Imagine how they would feel turning on a television station today.
That's how far the progress of human beings has gone.
Yeah.
They call it progress, don't they?
Mhm.
Yeah.
They call it progressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no flow to that.
No.
Sorry, that's a bad joke.
It's okay. One of the,
Alan?
Yeah.
one of the
Where's Alan?
progressive things.
We need better
literally
jokes.
happened
We need
until
better We just true.
7:30 cents.
Material.
That's fine.
So going back and and this is the judgment. The light has come into the world, and people loved the darkness rather than the light because their works were evil. For everyone who does wicked things hates the light and does not come to the light, lest his works should be exposed.
Guilt. Shame.
Remorse.
Yeah, it's kind of like what's happening
Conviction.
again right now. You're seeing a lot of people that pointed fingers just a few years ago at particular individuals, whether it be in the political realm, the religious realm, and otherwise. And now things are coming to light. You're starting to find out that particular individuals that had been pointing fingers all along, where they were the ones doing all the evil, and they were the ones that were carrying out all the horrible things, the wicked things. And it's coming to light now. They're being exposed. What is done in the dark will be brought to the light. But whoever, this is 21, but whoever does what is true comes to the light, so that it may be clearly seen that his works have been carried out in God. Now, hopefully, we get to be seen living that way. Hopefully, we are living in the light. But I'll be honest with you, and be honest, the guys sitting right here, I'm no exception to the rule. I have committed sins.
Every day.
You're human?
Right?
What is that one other
I'm
verse? The flesh may fail.
Can no longer be a part of this.
Right. Must
Stepping
be-
out of the guest house.
He who, and let me say this. He who is without sin amongst us, cast that first stone.
Are you a robot?
So,
Carrying a bag
Prove
of
it.
stones.
Right? And that'd be the almost the only way, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even a robot would probably still figure out a way to go into depravity, especially
Well,
if
if
they're
it
an
was
AI.
programmed by a human being.
Yeah.
Well, there's probably error in there somewhere.
every time.
I hear some chatter over in the producer's booth. Is everything okay?
Yeah, I don't know what a clapping noise is.
Oh,
We were getting applause from the audience.
you guys could have just
They won't turn the
applauded.
cameras around.
But I know that was short and sweet, but the point being, if you're not saved today, I would ask that you ask Jesus Christ into your heart. If you're not saved today, I would ask that you confess your sins unto God. It's real simple. Real simple.
And it doesn't hurt to pray. It doesn't hurt to love them. It helps out a lot. It helps you get to heaven.
And it doesn't cost you anything but what, 2 minutes?
No.
However long it takes you.
It could take hours.
Yeah.
Get it all out there.
It's a-
He already knows what's in your mind. All you have to do is speak to him.
You got to make the choice.
Yeah.
It's a choice.
It is a choice. And yeah, and that is a big decision. I'm not going to lie to you. That's a huge decision, and your life's not going to get easier after. A lot of people will tell you, oh, you'll have all these. Don't listen to Joel Osteen, okay? That man is a crook. I'm going to be honest with you. If you like Joel Osteen, I'm sorry to tell you that man is a crook. He's not telling you right. He doesn't even read out of the Bible. What you need to do is understand that you are a sinner, for all have sinned. So that's all of us. I'm not just talking about you. I'm talking about myself too. I was included in that.
Still am.
Yeah. So, for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. So how do we get out of that? Well, we just said, God so loved the world, he gave his only son, Jesus Christ. So you confess with your mouth, from your heart, be sincere with God, confess your sins, and ask Jesus Christ to come into your heart and make you a new creature. And you will be amazed and that how much discernment you will gain, how much your eyes will be opened just from that simple prayer. Just from that simple prayer. You will start seeing the world in a whole different light. You may start turning off the television. You might start picking up a book called the Bible a little more often. You might just get off of social media for a little while. Allow yourself to just cleanse yourself of the world for a little while. So that when you do go back and maybe watch a little television, you'll be a little more choosy as to what you may want to allow yourself to consume. Same with the social media. You might turn off those certain ads that seem to just pop up every single time you open up your tablet or phone, because they're there. I know they're there because I still get them from time to time, and I'm constantly on screens all day long and all evening. And so I know that the temptation is there, and it's all the time. But you got to learn that there is a way to not be caught up in those webs. And it all starts with going to the Equalizer. It all starts with gaining salvation and realizing that you're just like everybody else. We're all equal. But you can punch your ticket to heaven today.
Just spend a little time with God. It's the only way to get to know him. Is pray and know him and be with him at that time that you're praying.
It's a relationship.
It is a relationship. It is a relationship. So, like I said, I know that was. I normally when I sit here and when I bring the message, I tend to have a lot of notes and a lot of, insider information or what have you. But I felt like I said, we just need to go back and even if it feels like it's remedial to you, go back and touch back on this subject for the new listeners, the new viewers, and for the people that they just needed to hear it. Maybe they just needed to go back and remember why they took that leap of faith to begin with.
Go back to the basics, if you will.
Yeah, the basics.
God made it simple for us. He made it easy for us.
He sure did.
I mean, it's a hard choice, but he made it easy. He said, just keep my commandments kind of thing. Just do this.
Right. Well, and not only that, but like Louie and I had talked about this many, many times. There's another kind of person out there. There's another kind of person out there that you happen to think that you're the exception, that you've sinned too much. Mm. That there's all the things that you've done in your life that it's just unforgivable.
You putting God in a box,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, it doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter. You can be forgiven, right, Lou? You can be forgiven, and all you got to do is, just like I said before, you just gotta let him know that you acknowledge that you are a sinner, that you have done these things, and before you even get done asking Jesus into your heart to turn you into a new creature, he's already gotten rid of every bit of that sin past, present, and future. Now, it's not a free ticket to go out there and keep doing it.
No.
And that's why I said, hey, I'm no exception to the rule here.
None of us
I'm
are.
still a human being, and I wouldn't expect any different from you. But at the same
try your
time,
best.
but yeah,
Yeah.
at the same time, go to him in prayer. If you feel like you're in a weak spot, find yourself from Tough Men of Faith or for our friends
There
at
you
Tough
go.
Men of Faith. They say battle buddy. Find yourself a battle buddy. Find yourself a friend that's in the faith. That call somebody from a church. Anyone that you know that believes. Reach out to one of the hotlines or something like that and just say, hey, I'm having problems with this and I just need to be able to think about anything else. I need to get my mind off of this temptation, this road that I could go down. Or you could do like I have a friend that I work with in my day job, and she says that she has a mantra that she does. Now it's not in the Bible to do a mantra, but she feels like she's just not really good at prayer. But whenever she feels herself starting to slip back into old mindsets and back into old ways, the easiest thing she can do is think of the two words, Jesus matters. And she just repeats it. She says, Jesus matters, Jesus matters, Jesus matters.
Kind
And
of
before you know it,
meditation.
she has forgotten the things that she was going to engage in. She stepped away from that temptation.
Changing your focus.
Exactly.
I'm still fighting my demons. I have a lot of demons and a lot of problems that I went through, and I've gone through a lot of problems. And the things I went through, I should have committed suicide a long time ago, but I didn't because I believed in God, and I knew God would always get me out of it. And a lot of times He did, but I'm still fighting demons. And as long as I keep fighting demons, I keep believing in God more.
Keep fighting the good fight, Louie.
It's something I've always heard quite a lot. If your life is going perfectly and you don't know God, there might be a reason for that. If you're searching after God and your life is going terribly, there's also a reason for that. The devil's not going to fight for someone who's already sinning. The devil's going to fight after those who are seeking the truth. He is the prince of lies,
He's a lion.
father of lies.
You always get opposition when you're doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, this show and everything that's on revolverbroadcasting.com. Make sure you're checking out our website.
Nice plug.
Very enunciated there.
But, and check out all those shows, please. Louie's on there. These two guys are on there.
Louie.
But we face a lot of, what do you call it?
Adversity?
Adversity. Yes. A lot of what's that big word that they exclusion, a lot of censorship.
Mm-hmm.
But we get withheld from being shown to you because we're trying to tell you truth. And every time you seek truth, you're going to have hardships. We've been doing this we're in our third year. Let's put it that way. We're in our third year. And so if you're just now joining us and you're just like, wow, these guys have been doing this for 3 years and I'm just now seeing their shows or hearing their shows. How have they been around this long? I haven't heard or seen.
There's a reason.
There's a reason. Anytime you're going to seek the truth or tell the truth, you will find that the adversary is going to fight you every step of the way, and he's going to put a lot of hardships in your path, a lot of hurdles, but God's right there with you. There's an old poem that talks about that, and some people kind of find it corny, talk about the footprints poem, but I like the way that old Bo tells it. Talks about, where you see two sets of footprints, that's me walking beside you. Where you see one set of footprints, that's where I carried you. Where you see that big blotch back there next to the footprints, that's where I had to drag you kicking and screaming.
And that's the truth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because all too often we forget the gift that we've received. Once we do have salvation, we forget. That was another reason for this. We forget just how good God is and the gift that he gave us when he gave us his son.
Truly. Well, thanks for that, Josh. Appreciate it. It's always good to have a reminder. We get caught up in everything every day. You know,
Without fail.
path to salvation is one decision away.
Straight line.
And life ain't easy.
No,
It's hard.
it's not. I know.
Life will get harder. And if you give up, you're a failure because there's no hope for you after that. You just got to keep fighting and loving God, and that's it. Don't never give up.
So we have I think where are we at on time, Laura? If you don't mind me asking.
31 minutes and 6 seconds.
All right. Yeah, I just had to open up the old iPad here.
Couldn't get it open, man. I'm bad with everything. You said we're at
So-
31?
So we're right into the family portion, actually. So tell us, guest hosts, what is our topic for
Well, I had
Your salvation story or coming back to faith?
I had a question.
Okay, we got questions.
For each of us. What is your favorite thing with your walk with Christ?
favorite thing?
You might see day to day, you might see in your own life personally, and
Oh, well, I could say probably. I guess I can go first.
go ahead.
Is the reminders.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know how before I was saved, I never knew that God wasn't real. Like, I don't like it doesn't make sense to me looking back and like how unintelligent or blind, maybe that's better. Blinders,
Veiled.
right? I didn't notice
Yeah.
the bigger things. Like, there's no way like that doesn't just happen or who when I came to know Christ, when I accepted him, obviously I had my back and forths, my backslidings, my all that stuff. But through all of that, it was those reminders, like, oh, even if I was going through a bad thing, I made bad choices, it was an immediate reminder, like, hey, Christ is still here, and guess what?
Yeah.
He still loves you, and he did this. Look, he does that, and he does this. It's like, oh, you're right, and it was always just those, and it still is. It's just those reminders. Like you could have the worst day. Like I've had some. The last
Terrible
couple weeks
days,
have been
yes.
pretty terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But then I just walk outside and, hear like a bird chirp or something, and you're like, huh, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Like that's just, those are I would say that's probably my biggest thing.
Lou, you got reasons, your favorite reasons to remind you of your salvation and being with Christ?
Don't know it. Don't know it yet.
Okay.
I'm still looking for it.
Still looking for it. That's okay.
That's fair.
Takes time. I could say this.
But one thing I like about God
go
is his creations.
Yeah.
The birds that he made, the animals, the world, the sun,
Dogs.
all that. What gets me amazed that he has that power to do that. That's to show how powerful that man is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's truly amazing. I mean, to that point, like just the human eye itself, it's so complex. I don't know if you've ever seen a chart of how the human eye is constructed or it looks constructed. It's just there's so many little nerve endings and so much things going on just within the eye, with the optic nerve and the iris and all these things. So, and the retina, like there's no way that's not created. There's just no way that there was nothing, and then all of a sudden, over billions of years, there was something, and something as complex as the human eye came to be.
It was intentional.
Mm-hmm.
It had to have been, right? It had to have been intentional. So I agree with that, Louie. I agree with like just how beautiful creation can be, and down to the very minute details. The that actually takes me back to a video that I watched earlier this week. It's the actor Terrence Howard. I don't know if anybody is familiar with who that is, but he talked about it. So he's talking about things on a scientific level, but he's talking about the world of physics. Now, this is a little nerdy for some of you out there, but I talked about it on this show before about vibrations and how everything's made of vibrations. That's very intentional. There are no straight lines in nature. Did you know that?
I did know that.
There are zero straight lines. So when all these scientists in the 16th, 17th, 18th century, they kept trying to solve this puzzle called the flower of life. The flower of life is this series of circles within circles within circles within circles, and they go all over the place. But they kept trying to solve it with straight lines. And what they don't understand is that all of creation, and that's talking about things as small as beyond smaller than the atom, right? Protons, neutrons, everything, even into the infinitely small to the infinitely large, whether it be the earth, the sun, that distance. There's no void there. It's all filled with something. It's all filled with energy.
So
it's all filled with...
everything is a circle then.
Everything is curved. Everything is curved. There are no straight lines in nature. Now, if you were creating something and you wanted to put your thumbprint on it, if you wanted to show people just how much it's impossible, right?
I got you.
Thank you.
He's going somewhere with.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right? Just how much it's impossible to have not been created. Just look at your thumb. Unless you've burnt the end off of it or you don't have one. Sorry for those who don't have one. I have to placate
all
to
those
the
dogs out
handy, capable community. But on your thumb, if you have one, is a bunch of curves.
Mm-hmm.
few scars.
So no matter how, maybe a few scars, but there's no straight lines unless they were put there, right? Unless they were made there. But that's everything. And so that appreciation for creation, that's beautiful, Louie, on every single level, all the way down to smaller than we can ever imagine seeing, all the way to larger, to, beyond the universe, beyond whatever's out there that God has also created just for us to hang out and look and go, look at that.
Yeah.
Ooh. Right?
Ooh, look a penny.
He created all of it, and there's not a single straight line in the bunch.
Nope.
And it's wondering how he figured all these out when it wasn't even there then before.
Yep.
He just figured it out and just built it and drew it and put it out there.
And created it all the way down to the most infinitely small.
To the precise.
Extremely precise. That's another thing, is how amazingly, extremely precise the universe is. Did you know that there's the same amount of space being an operative word there because the void is actually filled with something too. There's the same amount of space between the earth, the sun, and the moon and the stars, all that is it within the universe. That there's the same amount of space to scale between the atoms that make up you.
Wow.
Now, I'm just going off of my own mind here, but how could that just happen? It doesn't. It had to be intentional.
Mm-hmm.
It had to be created.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just you saying that, man. Sorry, I sent me on a tangent, but
It did.
the appreciation for creation,
It
I'm
was
just
needed
like
to be said.
I'm in love with creation and learning about what God really did.
How it's made.
No, yeah, they're tied together.
everything.
Science.
Not only that, the world's made out of atoms.
Yeah, exactly.
All of us are made out of atoms. And the scientists grabbed the item and made a bomb out of it. They found out that they could split an atom and blow.
Yeah,
the
just
world.
one. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just split one atom. Yeah, they
Yeah.
can. It
We're
could actually.
made up of
Has that much
millions.
energy. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, we have
And you're saying
that many.
a God did not create this?
Did you have something, Cam?
Yes. My favorite thing is the power and joy of conviction.
Ooh.
The knowledge and understanding that you gain from having a walk, knowing all of this, kind of similar to what Sterling already had said, but it's the coming to realization is like the joy from that is one of the most powerful things I've felt personally in my life. I can't get past those moments.
It's like the literal coming to Jesus moments.
Yes.
It's a saying for a reason.
Yeah. Just walks up and slaps you right in the face.
Oh!
That's the microphone.
He had to
It's
do that
okay.
with a few
Yeah.
people.
He slapped me like 2 or 3 times in a refrigerator, so it's fine.
That sounds personal. All right.
So tell us about this experience.
Yeah. Was it cold?
It was my coming to Jesus moment of getting back out of the 5 years of me
Darkness.
in my own blind darkness. Yep.
It's a good story.
Yes, it is.
I wasn't being mean. There's
like,
laughter
right.
across the stage.
Yeah,
No, it's fine. We've heard it before. You can actually even go back and
I was gonna say, I think
Cameron
I've already
has,
had it.
has said his testimonial about that. If you do want to check that, I can't remember the episode or episodes, but it is there.
Well, I know we talked about it during the episode of controlling your emotions.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I think that was my original first one.
Yep,
There you go, check
was
it out if
when
you
he
wanna
brought the
know
message.
more
Yep.
that day as well. So
about youngish Cameron Reed.
Before I had the nickname,
It was
far
always
as I know,
there. You just
it
didn't
was
know it.
really early.
no, I like that too. I liked what everybody's said here, but the conviction that that's something that can weigh on all of us. I think we all regularly have that. If we're true to form and we're really to the understanding that he's watching us all the time, we're going to have a little bit of guilt in anything that we're even thinking. If we're even thinking about sin, if it's even not even
A little tap.
yeah.
Hey. Over here. Follow me.
Just thinking of looking at a woman and just looking at her bottoms and looking at her breasts, you're sinning because you're thinking bad things.
If you're lusting after, yeah.
Yep.
It says-
Another episode.
It's as easy as yes or no. Do you want that in your life just because you want it? Or do you want to keep it out of your life because it's not for you? It's
Everybody struggles with different things.
Yeah.
Temptation. You don't want to, if you struggle with that specifically, you don't want it in front of you because you're just setting yourself up to fail.
well, that could be. I wasn't just trying to hone that for that one topic. Any sin you could just say from that one.
Yeah. And that's when it's good to call your friend to
Accountability partner.
yeah, your battle buddy.
You ready for war?
This crew is lucky enough that any one of us could text or call any one of us just about any time of night. Well, I think Louie shuts down about 10:30.
Oh, 10:31. I'm calling you, Lou. It's happening.
The next business day. But
I'll call you 10:32.
But if
So Monday.
he happens to see his phone going off, that man will answer the phone. And I've had plenty of conversations with him talking about my what I'm struggling with. And yeah, you got some good battle buddies right here. Don't hesitate to say, hey, I'm struggling with something, and leave a comment. We'll leave a way for you to contact the show. I don't know, like going to revolverbroadcasting.com and sending us an email to info@revolverbroadcasting.com. You just click on contact FFP right underneath the show's links on our website, and we will get the email and take a look. As if you're having problems, we want to be here for you. Yeah. We really are. I mean that.
It could be scary, and it is scary. I mean, I've been in a situation to actually admit your faults, your sins, and stuff like that. But it's also, personally, it's also one of the most relieving things ever. Like I've been holding this, in secret. I've been, it's eating me up inside. If you actually tell somebody, like as we've been saying, we are all sinners. we can't judge each other. I mean, we can, and we do all the time. But if
We
you're
even rag on each other about it too.
if you're a true Christian, in my opinion, if you're trying to be more like Christ, if someone comes, I mean, you can look at all the stories and all the people he did through the Bible. I mean, it's his memoir, if you will. If someone comes to you and tells you in confidence, hey, boom, I'm struggling with this, and I'm being completely honest with it, you help that person. And by them just saying that to you and by that trust that they just put in you, they've helped themselves because now they go, okay, I can work through this.
And don't use it against them later on.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There's no
We
need.
all fall short. So why kick that person when they're already down? It is your, it is your job. It is your path as a Christian, as a brother or sister in Christ, to lift that person back up and to show them Jesus again, to show them God, and that you are there and that they're not alone. Because that's the thing. When you become saved, I'm ranting now, Josh.
No, go ahead.
When you get saved, this is what changes. I would say the biggest change for me is you are no longer alone. And you weren't alone in the first place. You just didn't realize it.
You were blind.
You were blind. You were, I can do me. I can do whatever, this is my life, whatever. You fill in the blank there with any selfish topic you want to. When you get saved, you're no longer alone. And I think we all just stated the fact that we realize creation is beautiful. We've got conviction, like all of the. How do you have those things? Because you're not alone. You realize that there's someone else bigger, stronger, and can love way, way harder than you ever could.
He gave his only son.
I'm done. Okay, I'm just
We go right.
Keep going.
there you go,
She's
full
just
circle.
Touchstoning
keep
right
going.
back
There you
onto the message. He gave his only son. There's no bigger sacrifice than that.
None.
And just like you said, the verse that has so many layers, that's an equalizing verse, Romans 3:23. That's why I always throw that verse out there. Whenever somebody asks me, what does it mean to be a Christian, I always start with that one. And they're like, wait a minute, why'd you start with sin? It was like, because that's what we all fall short of the glory of God.
Yeah.
Why'd you start with sin?
Like the whole Romans road kind of thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I say God is great, because to see his son go through suffering, getting nails stuck in his hands and his legs, and what they call that, the
Crown of thorns.
the corns.
Mm-hmm.
That that had to hurt a lot.
Yeah.
And then getting stabbed by a spear, and God seeing all that.
And
Me,
not
I would
destroying
have
us.
lost it. If I
Yeah.
was God, I would have boom destroyed the world right there.
Send down the angels. Boom.
I was gonna say that touches back on the Sterling's past topic about him and his decision about figuring out if he could give up his child for the world like that, knowing the things. God knew that he would also be put on the cross,
Yeah.
bled like that,
He knew it.
tortured like that, spit on, disregarded.
As a human being.
Why? Because God knows it all.
There you go.
Yeah. And he still, even after all that, decided.
To save us. Give us a chance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's no straight lines there either.
that's right.
How we looking now, Laura?
Hey, Laura.
48 minutes and
That's good.
56-7. Yeah.
Speaking of lines,
Speaking of non-straight lines, that's good. Comes from Fox News. We've got 59 Democrats vote with Republicans passing bill to deport illegal immigrants who committed DUIs.
That's definitely not a straight line.
Yeah, well, they weren't driving in one, that's for sure. 59 House Democrats joined Republicans to pass a bill to deport illegal immigrants caught driving under the influence on Thursday. I'm not sure which Thursday that
was this past Thursday.
This Thursday.
Yep.
Don't they have a rights to enjoy themselves?
Not if it's going to put others in danger. That's my opinion.
Hey, we do that here all the time.
Do we put people in danger, though?
How many Americans out here have gone into accidents and car crashes and drunk driving, and especially
let's-
these young kids nowadays?
Yeah. let's just keep it equal, though, right? Because even if we're not illegal immigrants, we still get convicted.
Mm-hmm.
So this seems fair so far, in my opinion.
They get sent back home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The measure passed 274 to 150 with mainly GOP votes. 150 Democrats voted against it. So they were all Democrats. In the United States, someone dies in a crash. This is a quote. Not sure who said it yet. In the United States, someone dies in a crash with an impaired driver every 45 minutes. That's super sad. Lost 2 of my young newlywed constituents to an illegal immigrant driving under the influence of alcohol. Oh, Representative Barrymore Rollo, who introduced the bill, told Fox News Digital. Eek. The bill would make people who are charged with a DUI and are in the U.S. illegally automatically eligible for deportation and permanently inadmissible. Okay.
Right now, Biden says they're legal.
Yeah.
But if this was just the first step. So just to clarify, this is just the first step. This is the Congress. So that's still got to go to the Senate. So it's got a majority vote currently with Congress. Now it's good because there's separations of power in the government. Mm-hmm. So now it's going to go to the Senate. Now hopefully the Senate also votes this way, right? Mm. And then if the Senate votes, then it's going to go to Biden. Then it's going to be on Biden's shoulders to whether or not he signs it into law. Now, if he were to veto it, because he has to have that power as a president, the third branch of the government, right, the executive branch, then people are going to go, wait a minute. You had a chance to deport people who were breaking the law twice. They broke the law once, just crossing that supposed invisible line that we keep hearing about. It's breaking the law. It's illegal. Mm-hmm. So you've already broken one law. Now you've broken a second law. You're drinking while driving. That's probably that's a couple laws right there on their own.
17.
So.
And then some potentially harming others with that vehicle.
So then you've got even more laws that could be broken there. And all they're saying is take that individual and send them all the way back home. Not to 34th Street where they might be staying at because they opened up the hotel or whatever. No. All the way home, whether that be in Venezuela or China or India, wherever it happens to be. If they're here illegally, they need to send them all the way back home if they've broken the law beyond just being here illegally to begin with. What Mark Dice called them earlier today. I was watching one of his videos. He called them criminal trespassers. I think that's a better term, and I think I want to start, instead of saying illegal immigrant, I'm going to start saying criminal trespasser from now on when I refer to someone who's come over the border because they've already broken one law. But furthermore, this is just putting into legislation something that the federal law can use that's not currently in place to start getting people to go back home. And if they're breaking the law on a second wave, we need to get them home.
They're not just coming in, breaking the law. They're bringing in drugs too. So.
Yeah. So, but that goes to show you that the Democrats that did vote against this bill, they want those criminal trespassers. Mm-hmm. They want them as voters. They want them as new voters. And guess how they're going to vote, because they've been brought here by Democrats. I guess how they're going to vote. And guess what policies are going to get put into place by said Democrats? Not ones that benefit you. Not ones that benefit you. They already don't think that you're worth your vote, because they know you're waking up. They know you want to vote to people in there that are going to tell the truth and do right.
Well, they even give an example, which this is crazy. It says, just last month, an undocumented migrant from El Salvador who had been deported 4 times was accused of killing a mother and son in a car crash that police said involved alcohol. So he's already been deported 4 times. And he came back in and killed some people because he was drunk. Republicans have long pushed for stricter immigration and border security measures, but the issues have taken on a particular urgency this year as polls show likely 2024 voters being increasingly concerned about the state of both. President Biden has recently ramped up his rhetoric on the border as well. Recently pledging to shut the U.S.-Mexico border if granted the ability and legislation that Senate and White House negotiators are currently working toward. That's a turn, isn't it?
Yeah. He
Now
campaigned
he's
on
concerned.
opening that border, didn't he? He campaigned on opening it up. And now he's like, whoa, wait a minute. Whoa, Nilly. And the only reason he's saying whoa, Nilly is because he realized that this is the biggest issue with the American people right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe he thought that there wasn't going to be that many people coming towards the border like that, like it's been now.
It really is an invasion of criminal trespassers.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, or he got the numbers to sway the vote, and now he wants to close it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we'll
And
let
that's
we'll
so
let
they go-
enough
they
in
vote
so we
his way,
can
too.
sway the few states we need, and then we'll close it back up again. Now we
What
have.
we need to do is get a hold of them and teach them who's the one that they should vote for. Trump.
Yeah.
Well, the Cubans will be. The Cubans will vote Trump because they've
Yeah.
already lived life underneath
They know
communism,
what communists is.
and they don't want to live life underneath communism again. That's
Right.
for sure. And that example, that's actually horrid. That's absolutely horrid. And there was
Well,
an
everybody should know what communist is because they all went through it. When
Yeah.
the Germans came, they had everybody.
yeah, they had socialism and
and the the Germans and then the Japanese. They were controlling people, and
the currently Chinese are all underneath communism, and
well,
so
the
is
Japanese mostly.
and so is
Now we got to
Russia.
worry about the Chinese.
Yeah, Chinese and Russia are both underneath communism.
Mm-hmm.
But there were two. I didn't get a chance to pull the article, but there were two more immigrants that were let out today after convictions fairly close to what you just read about in that example. And they were, as they were walking out, they'd been let go in a New York court, and they were flipping off. They were showing their middle fingers to the cameras as they were walking out, showing no remorse for what they did. They assaulted a police officer and took his cell phone and his gun. Yeah, they showed no remorse for what they did, and furthermore, they were showing complete disdain and disrespect for New York and the United States. These are the type of people that need to be sent back immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately, there should have never been. Oh well, let's just let them go. Nope.
Wasn't a whole family killed over the border that they was trying to come this way?
Happens all the time, honestly. All the time.
So we'll skip down here. There's a lot in there. A lot of blaming back and forth.
Of course.
Let's go with more argued. I quote, made it a campaign issue when Biden came in on day one. He accused Biden of fueling the border crisis by repealing Trump administration policies like remain in Mexico.
Title 42.
Yep. Biden has every tool in the box to shut the southern border. We don't need more money. We need to apply the laws that are on the books, Moore said. I think that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Stop ignoring the laws and well, as we'll see coming up here, there could be a stand.
Could be a stand.
Could be a stand.
Speaking of stands, coming from The Hill, DeSantis sends National Guard troops to Texas border. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis announced Thursday he will be deploying members of the National Guard to assist, quote, Texas at the southern border, where Governor Greg Abbott has declared an invasion amid a surge in migrant border crossings. DeSantis said he will be sending members of the Florida National Guard and members of the Florida State Guard to help Texas, quote, in its effort to stop the invasion of the southern border. Seems fair so far. The announcement stated that Florida has offered up to 1,000 of its National Guard members based on Texas's needs, quote. States have every right to defend their sovereignty, and we are pleased to increase our support to Texas as the Lone Star works to stop the invasion across the border, DeSantis said in a statement. Our reinforcements will help Texas to add additional barriers, including razor wire along the border. We don't have a country if we don't have a border. I like that. Abbott doubled down on his declaration of invasion at the southern border in recent weeks after the Supreme Court ruled that U.S. Border Patrol agents are allowed to remove razor wire Texas law enforcement has installed at the border. Really?
Yep.
Come on, Abbott. DeSantis and a number of other Republican governors have since announced their full support of Abbott's actions after the Texas National Guard appeared to ignore the Supreme Court ruling. This is not the first time Florida has sent its own forces to the southern border. Good for them. Last year, DeSantis announced his state was sending troops and personnel from state agency to Texas to help defend, quote, itself at the border. Man. Comments on that, Josh, so far?
Yeah. So, and part of that support is actually even with the Rhino office here in Indiana, part of that support is coming from Indiana.
Okay.
But just not nearly as many as is coming from Florida.
Yeah.
Now this is Ron DeSantis getting back to his roots. Now that he's officially stepped away from trying to run for presidency and the lift boots that he had going on. This is Ron DeSantis getting back to the governor that we loved about loved from being from Florida, and taking care of not only his state but helping out his fellow states. As he knows that the border crisis, all these criminal trespassers are coming through in droves, and the highest numbers that ever recorded within a month's time, highest numbers ever recorded. I don't know if there's any stats in that particular article. But it's somewhere around 230,000.
To me, it looks like it's been 1 billion of them coming through.
And it's consistent. And they're not all just and to clarify, the majority of these people are not from Mexico. They're not. When they're coming here from Mexico, I'd say 80% of the time, just from what I've seen on the reporting that's there, they're coming through a port of entry, and they're coming here legally. They are doing it the right way. And there are a lot of people that do come here legally, and they do it the right way, and they come through port of entry. They come here as asylees the way they're supposed to. But then you have people from Venezuela, from Iran, from China. China's one of the worst offenders.
Santo Domingo,
all these
everywhere.
All these different places from all over the world. And they're coming here, and they know that the Mexico border is essentially open for business because Title 42 was crossed out by Biden. All he had to do was leave Title 42 in place, leave the wall alone, and as a matter of fact, just go ahead and finish it. But if Biden had done nothing when he first came in, as far as the border goes, he would have been okay for his entire administration.
Yeah.
But he had to make sure that he tore down what Trump had built so that he could look good to who he thought his constituents were. And what he's coming to realize is that even Democrats, per that last bill that you've seen from Congress, people are fed up, and they're fed up higher than a wall can be built. And that razor wire thing that is, so what Abbott ordered for them to go out and do is actually every time they see razor wire getting cut, they go back out and replace it, because there's nothing in that Supreme Court ruling that says they can't put more up. So he said, hey, if they cut it, put more up. Here's the budget. Here, go out and do it. Put more up. They cut it, put more up.
It don't make no sense to even put barbed wire. They're not going to keep nobody out anyway. They could come straight through. They'll cut that barbed wire like nothing and come straight through.
Maybe.
No.
But at least
it's not a maybe. It's a possible, because it's like putting a fence around your house. You think you're safe? No. They could easily cut that fence and come into your yard and into your house.
Well, another good reason to finish the wall. Another good reason to put up actual physical barriers, because I can't say this. You did build a fence around your home. If you build a fence around your home for a good reason,
it doesn't mean I'm safe.
It doesn't mean you're completely safe, but
It's a deterrent.
it is a great deterrent. Physical barriers are one of the best deterrents, and as a matter of fact, point in case, I should say, Israel built a pretty amazing wall around their country, and it's kept out a lot of people. That's why they had to paratroop in when they had that attack, because that was the only way they were going to get into that country. because that wall was so tall. They had so much razor wire. They had so much things stopping them from coming. Physical
Wish
barrier.
I had a wall like that.
Yeah.
Don't we all?
Well, let's just get started on that this summer, Louie.
A lot of money.
You want a wall too, Cam?
Sure.
It'll be a big, beautiful wall.
Made out of Jello.
Make a tower.
You know, Biden, I don't know what's in his mind. He's got to be sick in his head, or somebody's pushing him to do these things.
Oh, he's a puppet for sure.
Not only that he's letting in illegals, he's trying to sell part of California to the Chinese. I mean, why are you selling our country to other people from other countries in here?
Oh, the China's doing more than buying up California. They're buying up a lot of other states as well. Farmlands.
They have bought quite a few other states.
Yeah.
You're right.
They own a pretty high percentage of the state of Indiana's farming land, which when we had Mr. John Schrock here, for you, those of you who don't know, go back and watch that episode when John Schrock was here. He explained to you exactly how much farmland they are buying up.
The Jews are trying to get in here too to profit with Indianapolis. They had it on the news. The king came over here, in charge of Jerusalem.
Yeah.
He said he wants to be part of the United States. I mean, part of Indianapolis, because they have a good culture here.
Yeah, Netanyahu, the president there. Yeah. Speaking of presidents,
Coming from the National Pulse, we've
welcome.
got. I appreciate it, Josh. He's the perfect host. Trump leads Biden in all 7 swing states.
surprise! I mean,
Donald Trump now leads Joe Biden in all 7 swing states by margins of up to 10 points. Nationally, Trump leads the incumbent by 6 points, according to Morning Consult, with his lead increasing to 9 points when third-party candidates are taken into account. Trump's strongest lead over Biden is in North Carolina, where he is 10 points clear of the 81-year-old Democrat. They just had to put that in there. He also holds strong 8-point leads over Biden in Nevada and Georgia, 5-point leads in Wisconsin and Michigan, and 3-point leads in Pennsylvania and Arizona. Previous polling found Trump ahead of Biden by 2 points nationally with a 12-point advantage among independents. The new results suggest Biden is not improving his position. My glasses keep slipping down. The Democrats' mismanagement of the southern border crisis appears to be particularly damaging for him. I wonder why. With 6 in 10 respondents holding him responsible for the situation. They should, and all 10 of them should. On Tuesday, House Republicans approved articles of impeachment against Biden's Cuba-born Homeland Security Secretary, Alejandro Mayorkas, for failure to comply with the law and breach of public trust.
Andale.
There we go. You got anything about that, Cam? Thoughts?
I'm good for now.
All right.
is it any wonder that Biden is losing in the polls to Trump?
But you know, 10 points ain't enough.
Yeah.
He's only hit by 10 points, and that's not enough. That's enough for Biden to cheat.
Yeah, he could. He could. Yeah. You have a good point. I will, and hopefully that lead just keeps getting, because it does say it's ever expanding there. Yes. Yep. So hopefully that lead just keeps getting larger and larger. And I think it will, because Trump is getting so much traction just from all these false cases that keep getting thrown at him, and things just keep coming out about old Fannie Willis, don't they? So,
as long as he keeps talking and going to these states, and talking to them,
Holding
because
the rallies.
that's what killed him the last time. He didn't go to certain states.
He's going everywhere now.
Yeah.
He's rallying everywhere. And we got to get Nikki Haley to give up her little run in the rat race. She's a warmonger. She should be gone already. But anyhow, in the past, anytime a Democrat has had been losing by about 2 or 3 points, even with that margin, Democrat has still been able to potentially take over. However, anytime that the Republican, which is wild to see a Republican have this much of a lead over an incumbent, it's beyond 6 points difference, which we were 10 to 12 in some cases.
Yeah.
that shows that it's almost a no-brainer that Trump should win, because if we looked at any past trend, that's the way it should go. Because there's just no way for Biden to really overtake that unless cheats.
Yeah. Let's hope they don't do what they did last time.
Mm-hmm.
I think
That's all I've got.
I was gonna say
That's-
it will almost forever stand. A man who can shake hands with wind. It's not worth.
Nice.
Proper
Yeah,
vote.
that came out of left field, or maybe it was right.
look about like this. And then he couldn't find the stairs, couldn't find his way off the stage,
Talking to ghosts and
tripping
everything.
over nothing.
I'm not making fun of the guy. It's just obvious things like that make you, as a citizen, looking at the leader of the free world, that's concerning. It's not that he needs to be made fun of. He just shouldn't be
Yeah,
there.
if he can't do
Normal
these normal,
things.
simple things, how is he coming up with all the smart things that he supposedly is trying to say? For his
Somebody's
campaigning
whispering
for-
is all
He's
I'm
been
saying.
He's been
got a
taught.
teleprompter or something
and
that you just
they told him
stand up here, read.
Eat ice cream, touch a turkey.
That's about I can't believe that he named those turkeys chocolate and chip again after the second year in a row.
He also could have one of those earplugs in his ears that somebody's
Yeah, whispering in his ear. Yeah.
information to him.
Yeah, that could be why he's always going because he's trying to hear what Jill's saying in his ear.
She's speaking too fast.
Yeah. And she's just like, get off the stage. So anyway, I like ice cream.
He used to sit by
I'm
the
waiting for
pool.
the day when, if someone is speaking into his ear and they say, get off the stage, he randomly says into the microphone, get off the stage, and then everyone in the audience is just like,
It's true.
what? Excuse me?
Hopefully I'm there with my pad and my pen and paper, and I'm going to go, I knew it!
They're telling them all along.
This is going right under
Someone
our
cut
blog
the
on our
strings.
website. Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness. He's a real boy.
Yeah. He wishes he was.
Apparently not.
Pinocchio.
Yes.
Oh, my
Feel
goodness.
like we all.
I think it's a good time for prayer.
All right. Well, that was Josh. He just prayed. He wants somebody else to pray. Anybody feel like praying?
Hmm?
You want to pray, Louie? You don't have to. You don't want to.
No, let Josh finish.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Father God, we want to thank you again for this chance to come be before you and humble ourselves and let people know that we are right there with them, that we are equal with them because you sent your son, the Equalizer. So cool. Jesus Christ, he saved us from going to eternal damnation, and we thank you that you could do that for everyone who believes. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for that, Josh. The man who brought us the message today on the Equalizer.
The perfect toast.
Perfect toast, Joshua Cummins.
I see my name on the screen there. Thanks, Laura.
Southside.
Get it, Lou.
We are on the south side, yeah.
Sitting next to him, we got the youngish kamronreed.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. I mean, it wasn't my first choice. I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's fine. I'll,
Thank you for
I'll
filling
be here
in.
next time.
What?
Huh?
It's always great to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your input. It's was touching. Yeah. For real. It
He
was.
literally got volunteered when he walked in the door tonight. So,
It's always fun.
yes, definitely. Thank you.
It's hard to share, so thanks for sharing. Ross,
You wasn't. Give me back the $50 I gave you.
After the camera shut off.
I got roped in. I didn't get paid nothing. Across from a youngish kamronreed, we got Mr. louierodriguez.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to be here.
Always a pleasure having you, Louie. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Very much
I have been your guest host, Sterling Metcalfeallen, telling you to stay in trouble. Pretty sure that's what it is. You stay in trouble, people. Remember, Jesus loves us all. We're all in the same boat, like Josh said in his prayer. And reach out. Please reach out if there's something you need prayer for.
Comments.
Tune in
Coming,
next
coming,
week
coming,
for
coming.
something very special.
The suspense.